Yo. Okay. So I am. The Lord answers to Moses, tell them that I am who I am has sent you. And those words they weren't shocking to me when I heard them the first time, and I heard them when I was probably like 6, 7. And I continue to hear them every so often, every 6, 7 months until recently I still hear them every now and then. Listen to that wind. Yeah, and I just feel like this wall's gonna come down and things are gonna happen. But I guess it's just my little crevice of a room in the corner of this hall. But anyways, um, I think when I first understood it, uh, I had to. It was I had to meet a certain requirement per se to be able to understand that, or for me to think that I understood it, which I think I understand it. But it wasn't until after I took physics, specifically waves and oscillations, and then reconfirmed when I was taking a course in inorganic chemistry, and we covered more of atomic particle physics, more like the subatomic particles, like beyond the proton and the neutron. That I confirmed it, and then whilst people were having nerdgasms per se about the Higgs boson and the particle accelerator in New Zealand in respect to the God particle and disproving God, that was actually proving the opposite for me. And it was like, oh, I see why, because the Bible says this, and oh my gosh. And then my mind, was kind of solidifying concepts in respect to God. And now I'll touch on this. I am that I am. I've told this to people that I speak to about the Bible, that I've been thank God given the opportunity to talk about these things. I've told them that when God claims something about Himself, He's also claiming the opposite about anyone else. As in, like, the attributes He gives Himself are unique to Himself and cannot be in someone else because He is holy. And a lot of people have a misconception what the word holy means, and I also did. I actually didn't learn its full definition until uh, late teens, early 20s. Um, very, very early 20s because I'm still in my 20s. Um, it was holy is separate from, separated. So it seems kind of like what? I thought that's not what I think white stuff. I think someone who doesn't curse, someone who's so saint good, and that's what I think when I think holy, so like some divine type of thing. But that's not what holy means. Holy means unique, absolutely unique, separated from, as in like here's one bulk of things, all which relate. On this separate part, I have something that does not relate to these things. That's what the word holy is trying to deliver, and it comes from the Greek. I don't know the actual Greek word, or I don't remember it, but that's where the actual word comes from. Um, so when God claims something for Himself, He's saying, "I uniquely possess this quality. No one possesses this quality, because that is the point of being holy." When He says only God is holy, it means only God is unlike anything else that cannot be compared to. Um, so when He says I am, He's claiming that we are not. What does it mean? What you saying? Okay, that's He is. He absolutely is. If there is a, what do you think when you think is and isn't? I feel like is claims existence and reality, what we perceive as being real, and something that isn't is simply not a true part of reality or a true substance which exists in reality. That's what I think of is and isn't. In respect to this verse. So when He claims that He is, that he says I am, He's also saying I'm the only one who truly is. If there is anything real, if there's anything as a substance, if there's anything that truly one could say is, it is me. That's what he's claiming. Everything else isn't. And I was like, oh, I mean, but I'm right here. And so are the stars and the earth. There are a lot of things that are. So when I took physics, and even early in chemistry, maybe even as early as physical science in high school, one learns about the concept of absolute zero. What the crap is absolute zero? Pardon my language. Absolute zero is, I guess, I could paraphrase it as the temperature, the true temperature that is zero. What is temperature? Well, temperature is its average kinetic energy. So temperature gives a reflection of what the kinetic energy of a substance or of a system is. And all that means is, in regular terms, is energy, motion. Motion. Things have motion. When something is hot, when you grab a cup of coffee, the reason why you interpret it as being hot is because the energy associated with the liquid means that the molecules are like super, super fast, back and forth, bouncing at speeds so great that when you touch it, all the energy is transferred directly into your flesh. It's like if you were grabbing like balls at 100 million speeds per second of whatever and throwing it against something, you're transferring some energy onto that other thing. So when something's hot, it just means the molecules that make up that substance are moving at really high speeds. Now, what does this have to do with absolute zero? Well, when you drain all the energy, theoretically speaking, those molecules are supposed to stop moving. And what is the molecule itself made out of? Well, the molecule itself is made out of electrons, protons, neutrons, and it's also said that, well, what happens when those stop moving? Well, the thing about it is that protons, neutrons, and electrons are not really what people think they are. They're not really substances, as in something hard you could poke, as small as they may be. They're not concrete. Um, they're waves, wave functions. A proton is made up of quarks, and quarks in reality are disruptions in a field. And I know this is kind of difficult to understand because of the science and the background that a lot of people may not have. But think of it this way: um, you have a pond, a lake, and you grab a rock and you throw it, and you see the ripples. You see the waves that go through the lake. Every wave you see, really what you're seeing is probably the crest of the wave, the superficial part. Well, when you have something move in a very high fashion speed, it gives the illusions that there's a solid. Kind of like when you jump rope, you see this semi-oval shape. That's what you could think of an actual proton or a quark as being. They're just oscillations of waves of energy that are moving in such a way that we see the node and they take up space. So the the New Zealand Particle Accelerator proved the existence of the Higgs boson, which means that matter itself is just a fluctuation or disruption into that field. Sort of like someone throws a rock into a pond and you see the waves. What you see as the waves is actual matter, meaning that without the rock and the well, you couldn't see all the waves that are formed because of the energy. Similarly, the Higgs boson proves that matter is simply a disruption, or not precisely disruption, but an some sort of interference within the Higgs boson field. In other words, we're waves. We're not real. We're simply a effect of energy on this field of waves. That's what we are.